channel. I decided to do a little chat with you guys today. I hope you've been enjoying the tutorials I've been posting, but welcome to Toya 2 Free. If you're new here, this is a place where you can find content for mompreneurs who love God and like to look good, okay? So today I wanted to talk to you guys about entrepreneurship and family. It can be very difficult to be a mompreneur and also manage a business and being a wife and serving in your church or in your community. It can be a lot of things to juggle at once. So I just wanted to give you guys a few of my personal tips, tidbits, my insight, my thoughts on how you should manage it all. First, I want to say that family is number one. This is God first, of course. Then there's family. Then there's business. And I know in society, out in the world, everything is flip-flop. People put their business over everything. They put making money and being successful over everything. And that is not the way Christians are supposed to go about doing things. I feel like God has blessed us with business and creativity and talents that He wants us to share in excellence with the world. However, your household is your first ministry. He's blessed you with these kids. He's blessed you with this spouse. And that's your first job. That's your first job, is to pour into your family. So I don't really, well, I used to. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to talk about it like I wasn't there. I used to be grind, work, period. Because I ultimately had the wrong view of God. I felt like I had to provide. It was my responsibility to make sure that all my needs were met, and I trust God with whatever I can't provide for myself. So basically, I made myself the source, and I wasn't looking at God as the source. So every bill that I had, it was up to me. I didn't trust God for really, truthfully, anything. It was like, it's all on me. I gotta do this. I gotta make this happen. If I don't work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, how am I gonna have the money to do this and to do that? When I began to shift my view of God and really begin to study my word and get a better understanding of how God is a provider and how He loves us and how He's sovereign and how He uses everything. And when I finally got an understanding that just because you're financially in a good space, that doesn't mean you're in God's will. That is not a direct reflection of being in His will for your life or not, just because of what you making monetarily. When I finally got that understanding, I began to step back and say, you know what? Yes, I have these needs. Yes, I may have these wants. But God, I'm going to trust you with it. And I'm going to go home and spend time with my family. I'm going to take my kids to the park. And I'm not going to be at the park thinking about, oh, I need to respond back to this client. And I need to make sure I open my books for this day and all these things. No, I'm actually nurturing and pouring into my family because that is what God has given me to nurture. And I want to be a good steward over my family and that gift just as much as I want to be a good steward over my business and the gift He's given me as a hairstylist. So I just want to tell you that if you are struggling with prioritizing your family and having them in the proper place, then your business, you really need to begin to question yourself and ask yourself, well, what is it that I think? How do I feel about God? Like, what is my view of who God is? Do I see God as a provider? And if I do I really believe that He will provide? Do I think I have to have my hands in everything in order for things to work out? in order for me to have my needs met, do I feel like I have to work for every single thing to be solved? Is it all on me? Have I made myself a God? So I want you to ask yourself that. But also I want you to think about your marriage. Are you prioritizing spending time with your spouse? If you have to use your calendar to schedule time to spend time with your spouse, or if you have to set an alarm on your phone as a reminder that Sundays at 5 o'clock, and I'm saying this because this is my time. On Sunday at 5 o'clock, I have an alarm that goes off on my phone, and it reminds me it's hubby time. So whatever I'm doing that's related to business or related to the kids, anything, pause, stop. It's time for hubby time. And that don't mean it gotta be, hubby time. But if we just gonna play a game, or we're gonna watch a movie, or we just gonna simply talk, like, you have to schedule that time to make sure you're checking in and making sure you're being present with your spouse. It's kind of difficult because me and my husband both have businesses. We're both self-employed. So we can both be kind of one-track mind when it comes to what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish. So we kind of have to remind each other, like, hey, it's been a minute. Like, you want to sit down and talk? You turn the TV off, turn the computer off. Let's sit and talk, and let's play a game together. Let's do something to interact with each other, because we can be zoned out. And when you're passionate about something, it's easy to do. It's really easy to do, but you really have to reel yourself back in. And I have used my calendar. I have used alarms to keep me on track, so I won't forget to make that time. Because again, this is a gift. Your marriage is a gift. So in order to steward it properly, you need to make sure you're doing everything you can to do the best you can and steward it and please God with the way that you prioritize your spouse and prioritize your children. You gotta be careful not to fall into the trap of money. And that's easier said than done as entrepreneurs, because it's not like the normal 9 to 5 where even if you don't have a busy day at work, you still getting paid by the hour. With entrepreneurship, it's like whatever you kill, that's what you eat type of thing. It's like if you don't have anybody scheduled, if you don't have anybody on the books, that's no money. So it's not like a regular 9 to 5. So it's hard to kind of keep your mind at ease. It's hard to hold on to that peace when you feel like it's a slow season and I haven't been getting any bookings. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna make it through this season? That's when you really have to lean into your faith in God. That's the only way you're gonna make it through it. It may look crazy for you to be so calm when you're in the middle of a slow season in your business. And it may be hard for you to not start pulling for straws because you're like, what in the world am I gonna do? Let me try and do this. Well, let me try and do that. And you start to take things back into your control after you've already released it. Because I know personally, I have released things and then I go right back and pick it up because I feel like God ain't moving fast enough and it's making me nervous. So I know it can be hard to not just be driven by the flow of income, and you'll find yourself during the slow seasons spending less time with your kids or not prioritizing time with your spouse because you're so focused on the monetary aspect of it. And you're so focused on how your business is doing that you get tunnel vision focusing on that, and you start to slack on that quality time with your family. But you can't let that happen. And I know that's easier said than done, but it's possible. Once you get a better understanding of the God that we serve and how steady and faithful and consistent and true his word is, he is truly a provider. I remember a situation where I had a bill that was due, and I had no idea how I was going to pay it. And I was going through a slow season in my business, and the bill was due the very next day. And I was at the salon, and I had one client that day. And I was like, okay, God, I'm trusting you, but the bill due tomorrow. Like, he don't know. I was like, God, the bill is due tomorrow. Like, if you're going to do something, you're going to have to do it pretty soon, because we got a day, okay? And you know, with bills, you have to pay it by 5 o'clock the day before sometimes, before it's processed for the next day. So I was getting nervous. So I literally, the bill, I think it was like $300 or something like that. And I did not have it. I just didn't have it. And a lady came into the salon that I never met before. I didn't know who she was. She came into the salon, and the way the salon was made, she had to pass about 7 salon suites before she got to mine. And she got to mine and knocked on the door. And I was like, yeah, how can I help you? And she said, I need some services done. I was like, okay, so what are you interested in getting? I'm like, all right, okay. So this is going to at least get me halfway to the $300 that I need. In my head, that's what I'm thinking, right? So she got to talking and telling me the services that she needed done. And tell me why it was right at $300 what she needed done. She needed her hair taken down. She needed a reinstall. She needed a trim, a color. When we got done, I had extra. Okay? I can't make this up. Extra. And when she left, I was like, God, there wasn't nobody but you. Y'all, he is so faithful. You can put your weight on him, for real. Like, seriously. And that's just one situation. I got plenty of stories. But that's just one situation where it was clear as day that this is nobody but God. This had nothing to do with me. I didn't send out a post on social media. Hey, I got openings today. I didn't go out passing out cards. It was none of that. It was simply, all right, God, I'm going to trust you. And he showed up. And he does every time. Now, there have been some times where I'm not going to say he didn't show up. I'm going to say initially I couldn't see him in the situation. So something may have been due, or I needed something and I wanted him to show up in right on time. And you know how that song goes where he's an on time God? Well, this time I felt like he wasn't on time. I felt like he was late. Okay, just being honest. But eventually, I was able to see him even in the delay. Even though it wasn't at the perfect time, in my opinion, I was able to see him even in the delay. So even if you have experienced something and you feel like, but he didn't come through for me like that. The bill was due the next day and I didn't have the money the next day. And whatever it was got cut off or taken. So he didn't show up for me. He ain't faithful for me. I dare you to look at that situation. Take a second look at this situation. And see if you can find God even in the delay. Because I'm sure you can. If it was a car payment and the money didn't come for the car payment on time, you probably couldn't afford the car anyway. So that was a weight he took off of your back by getting repossessed. Thank you, Jesus. So try your best to find God in every situation. But if you are an entrepreneur and you have issues prioritizing your family and your spouse and just serving in your church and serving in your community because you're always worried about money, you need to get to know who God is. Because once you know who God is, you'll understand that no matter what happens, He got me. He's faithful. I don't have to do it by myself. It's not all on me. I'm not self-made. This ain't me. He gave me this gift that I'm using to make money, but He gave me these gifts in my spouse and my children, and I am responsible for stewarding them well. So make sure you are prioritizing your family. Don't get lost in the sauce and be confused by society telling you you gotta go and grind. We are not machines. We're people. Okay? Thanks for watching. I hope you got some encouragement out of my chat today. It was a little random, but you can get some from it, I'm sure. Until next time.